Hey, Zane Griggs here. So, did you know that you can get a lot of vital minerals, nutrients, actually from the meat that we eat? Believe it or not, things like calcium, minerals like calcium and potassium, magnesium, vitamin K, which is also very important for bone growth, a lot of other essential nutrients we need and we try to often get from fruits and vegetables, can be derived from the meat that we eat. You say, well, how is that possible? I haven't heard that. I heard it's bad. I heard just the opposite. Too much meat's bad for us, bones and osteoporosis. Well, first of all, the quality of the meat and it's what that meat ate prior to you getting to it, and how it's cooked has a lot to do with the bioavailability and the amount of these nutrients in the meat. So, pasture-raised meat or wild-caught meat, or chickens who get to go out and eat worms and seeds and pick in the grass, they're going to have a whole lot, not only more, you probably heard more omega-3s, but they're going to have more of these nutrients, which, because their bodies are just more, really, they're true herbivores, okay? So their digestive system is designed to pull these nutrients out of the grass and the bushes and the bugs that they're eating. So with birds, that is, with bugs. But like say cows, we all know they have several stomachs. They digest the grass over and over and over again, almost ferments in their stomach, and they get to pull a lot more nutrients out of the grasses that they're eating than we can with our digestive system. So actually get more from those, to get more minerals, more nutrients from the vegetation that they're eating. And it's true of wild animals like deer, elk. If you get a chance to eat any wild game, do it. Okay, wild caught fish obviously better than farm raised because not only omega-3s but the minerals in the water, the natural food they're eating, as opposed to grains that they're being fed, which is true of wild caught fish as well as feedlot cattle. They get almost no nutritional value from eating oats and corn residue. Usually it's leftover corn residue that these fish and animals are being fed, and a feedlot and pigs, forget about it. They're giving them all sorts of garbage to eat because they'll eat anything. But when pigs have been allowed to roam free, okay, and forage, they get good stuff and they have much a healthier nutrient ratio in their meat. Now, how do we get to it? How do we keep it bioavailable? Ideally, slow cook it. We want to slow cook the meat, so after over several hours. You say, well, that's time. So yeah, you got to plan ahead a little bit. Maybe start at lunchtime. If you have a smoker, that's great. You can put it in the oven at 200 to 250, depending on what it is. I've done that with chicken legs. Leave them in there, cover it. Leave them in there for 4 hours. I'm not worried about it. Come back later. I did a 5-pound brisket. Took me many hours. Started on the weekend. Fed the family all week though. Smoked it for a couple hours. That's optional on indirect heat on my gas grill, or get a smoker. But then put it in the oven, covered, for however long you need for that size of meat. You can look that up. 5 pounds. I cooked it for about 10 or 12 hours total at a low heat. So tender, falling off the bone. But I don't have to play with it. I covered it, put it in the oven, set it for 225, went on with the rest of my day. And came back to it later that evening. It was ready to go, literally falling apart. You could cut it with a spoon. It was so good. And knowing that fat, which is where all their minerals are stored, because those are fat-soluble minerals, many of them, but that's where they store their nutrition, these nutrients, is in their fat. And so when that fat is cooked slow, it's rendered down through the meat, and the nutrients are really in there. They're part of it. So, and they're much more bioavailable because they've been cooked slowly, as opposed to cooked fast and cooked long. Overcooked meat, well done meat. If you get a steak, go for as rare as possible. They're going to be slow cooking it, but at least it's going to be rare. So you're not going to have that damage to not only the protein and the fats, but the minerals as well. If you overcook it, well done meat, it's pretty much. You're good luck getting some nutrition out of it. You might pull some protein, but it's pretty denatured. So go for rare as possible, as rare as you can stand, and start getting used to it. Organ meats are amazing. Calf liver, cow liver, it's been pasture raised, or even deer, whatever, wild caught. Liver, one of the most nutritious things you could possibly eat on the planet. So, and it used to be part of our diet, not so much there. You can't even find it in the grocery store anymore, really. You have to go to a butcher, or find it from one of these people, who raises pasture-raised, cattle, beef, pork. Calf liver, full of not only iron and zinc, which we know about, which is part of meat anyway, but all of these vital minerals and nutrients that we're trying to assimilate and actually have a harder time getting from plants than we could from a calf liver. Much more bioavailable in a calf liver or slow cooked meat, pasture raised of course, than it would be from getting it from, say, certain vegetables. So, for instance, carrots. I'm going to go a little too deep into here. Carrots have a certain vitamin A, carotenoids, okay? It's a precursor for vitamin A, for making vitamin A. In animals, it's been converted, who've eaten the plants, it's in the form of retinoids, okay? Retinoids, vitamin A, much more bioavailable for humans. You need a lot less calf liver compared to spinach or even carrots, okay, which we think are high in vitamin A. It would take half a pound of carrots to match, a few ounces, the retinoids in a few ounces of calf's liver. So it's really, we can get a lot more from our meat if we treat it right, if it's been treated right when it's raised, and if we treat it right when we cook it. So, if you know someone, I know there could be a lot of questions about this, but if you know someone that could benefit from this, please tag them in the comments below. And if you have a favorite slow cook recipe, I'm slow cooking like crazy right now. If you have a slow cook recipe or, for a certain meat that you like, post it in the comments, post a link to it in the comments, tell us about it, love to hear it, share with the class. We all need to be thinking more about not only where our food came from, but how we prepare it to get the most nutrition out of it. Thanks. Talk to you later.